I would send Penguin Panic for my review, and if you are looking for a fun game to play with the family, this one is pretty cool. So I will be totally honest, it took me a couple minutes to kind of figure out how to play, but now that I actually know, I think it is going to be super fun. So you need at least 2 players, of course, and they say up to 10, which I think is really great because you don't often find games that you can play with 10 people. They do suggest the ages are 8 and up because you're basically like, you don't need to know how to spell, but you are going to be doing like word association. So you definitely want to keep that in mind. Sometimes for the younger ones, it's going to be hard to figure that out. So basically the whole point of the game is you want to be collecting as many of the Penguin Panic cards as possible. So what's going to happen is whoever goes first, so you're going to start by flipping over the icebreaker, okay? So as you can see, the icebreaker pack is a lot smaller than the Penguin Panic because these ones are not going to come into play until we get a special card from the Penguin Panic pile. So we will get to that in a moment. So whoever's turn it is, you decide who's going to go first, and basically they are going to flip the top card and they're going to put it in the middle. And then the reason that it is called Panic is because basically everyone is going to shout their answer as soon as possible. But there are a couple things that you have to keep in mind, which again causes the panic. So what happens is, as you can see, so we clearly have an M word, right? So we have Martian, but as you can see, you have the capital, the M here is in red, and then you also have the N that is in blue. So depending on what color this circle is which one you're going to go with, because some of these ones are also blue. So if you see here, this is the red, we need to find an M word. But if it were blue, then you would be looking for an N word. So again, cause for panic because you're like, you see this and you want to be the first one to say your word, but then you have to look, you're like, red. Okay, so I need an M word, mountain. And so whoever shouts their M or N, whatever letter it is first and finishes, and there has to be a qualifying word, they're the one who's going to keep the card. So you can't say any names, for example, like my name's Michelle. I can't scream out Michelle. So it has to be very like generic words. It also can't be clearly the word that's on the card, and it can't be a word that you have seen already on any of the cards. So the thing that I love about this is that it is fast, right? So I got this, so I'm like mountain, I win, then you go for your next one and you just keep going, going, going. So you do have words like this, but you also, some of the cards have numbers on there. So again, as we can see, this is the number 9. So when you see a number, you have to shout out a word that starts with an N because 9 is spelled with an N. So again, this is why you want to have like kids who are like 8 and older because you have to think of your spelling. So again, I would have to come up with a word that starts with an N for 9. So then whoever shouts it is going to get this card. So that's basically the rules of this. And then you're just going through and you're going to be putting, the cards down and everyone's shouting. So it's going to be kind of fun. It's going to get silly and it's going to get very panicked. But then let's just throw everybody for a massive loop. Then you also have these like special cards here. You've got your slap, you've got your red and blue, and you've got your 3 words here. And then basically this is where this card here comes into play. If you get a slap, this one is super easy because basically you would turn it here and the first person to slap the card is going to get both of these. So you actually don't even have to think of what you have to do, score. So you get that. If this one comes over, you have to say a red and blue word based on this card here. So our word is teacher. So I need a word that starts with a T and a word that starts with an R. And then whoever says both of those words correctly first will then get both of these. And then the last one is the 3 words here. So whichever, when you flip this over, again, we've got a red one here. So whatever my word is, I have to, based on the T here, I have to say it 3 times. So let's say my word was tree. I have to say tree, tree, tree. You have to say it 3 times. So whoever says it then gets these. So again, it is very fast paced. I do think that you have to have people or someone really paying attention and making sure that you're using proper qualifying words. And I just think it's also a fun way, for kids to help kids with their spelling, to help them with their word association. But again, someone like me who's a terrible speller, the word panic really kind of brings that panic, but I can also see how fun and silly this would be to play with the whole family. So if you are looking for a new, fun, and kind of crazy game, I would highly recommend Penguin Panic.